So to the man who predicted that all 6 of these teams would be the ones making it into the World Championship Finals, I freaking commend you. I will say this past weekend is probably one of the greatest Halo tournaments we've had in quite a while, just competition-wise. Even a lot of pros kind of agree on it too. I unfortunately was kind of away for most of the tournament, but I was able to catch up on rebroadcasts, and there were quite some matches. So first thing I'm going to talk about are my predictions and how they landed compared to how things ended up actually being. First thing to note is Legion's kind of falling a bit short. This is something that I mentioned in that predictions video too. I saw them, you know, if they were firing on all cylinders, they could come out and get top 4. If not, and they kind of weren't really meshing that well, clicking together, that they could fall short and get sort of a top 12 finish or top 8, what they actually did end up placing. Great comeback with Panda Gaming though. I will say that that series and also Cryptic versus EG were probably one of my favorite series of the weekend. Speaking of which, my god, Cryptic. Now, I knew there was a slim possibility that they'd be able to make some noise this weekend just based on the fact that I think one of the online qualifiers, they kind of made some noise. I think they upset maybe Liquid and I think maybe another pro team, but I didn't really think that they would be that consistent. So they come in, beat EG, they give Envy and Allegiance a run for their money. Definitely need to shout out Ryan. He got a lot of screen time, but he deserved every bit of it. He looked back at the top form like how he was in the Werner Fox days, and just made a bunch of great plays. Actually, I made a little video. I'll put it like around here if you want to check that out. Just highlighting the main plays that he made during the weekend. Really sick stuff. But yeah, they look really solid. Really looking forward to them on the LCQ this weekend. If you didn't know, this weekend, just coming up Saturday and Sunday, I believe. Sunday is the big day. There's going to be one more online tournament that's going to be deciding which team gets the last spot for the Halo World Championship Finals. It's going to be a tournament. Moving on, I want to talk a bit about EG. Now, I actually called in my predictions video that if I had a team placing top 12, it would probably be EG. And, you know, it's kind of sad to see it happen. But at the same time, they didn't really show that they were a team capable of making it even to the top 8. You saw their match against Team Cryptic. Sure, Cryptic was on fire, but like that's a team you have to beat as a top 6 seed team. You just can't lose that. That said, I wish them the best of luck in the LCQ. But if I'll be honest with you, I think this might be the end of the road for these guys. Moving on to a better light. We have LG, so these guys, wow, like they surprised a lot of people. I'd say like they probably surpassed like 90% of people's expectations of what they do this weekend. A lot of people top 8, you know, some people even have them placed in the top 12. And they actually made top 6. And you know, I said that this might happen. You know, they looked a lot more improved in scrims leading up to this tournament than they did with St. Louis. And when it came to the matches that mattered in this one, they clutched up. Man of the hour definitely goes to Sane. I really think that he was the catalyst that they needed to sort of edge them that extra step. And he's only been playing for a year too, so. Okay, so now Splice. I want to talk about Splice just because their match against LG was also that pivotal match to make it into the top 6, and that's where they kind of fell short. Now, I think I won't be the only one saying this when I say it, but the Splice that we saw this weekend was not the Splice that they're capable of being. For whatever reason, after their series with Allegiance, it kind of seemed off. They got 4-0'd by Optic, they beat EG, but then again, EG wasn't playing that well to begin with either. And they fell short to LG 4-1. Granted, you know, I would say LG would be a harder match for them compared to Straight Rippin' just because of the matchup history there. I do think that time has a lot to do with it, especially in that last series with LG. They played that, I believe, very late in the night. They played it, I think, at 12 a.m. and that was actually 7 hours after they had played their last match. I think at the end of the day, you know, teams have their off tournaments, and I think this is just another case of it. I do think that we'll be seeing Splice in the finals of the LCQ this weekend. Okay, so now, Panda Gaming. Panda freaking Gaming. You know, ironic as it is, after all the drama, the whole turmoil with like the whole stealing the seed, people hating on Kratos saying, oh, you don't deserve that spot, they ended up being the ones to actually make it through. Love them or hate them, I think it's impossible to knock their passion. These guys They were probably one of the most engaging teams to watch this tournament. They were just, every time we go into listen, always fired up. After every win, even after every game. Got a lot of native like chair knocking there. Always brought the hype, always brought the drama, and I'll be honest, not too surprised by how they placed. I said it was entirely possible for them to get top 4. All they had to do was get past Allegiance, and after that I kind of saw them cruising through either straight or Luminosity, you know, just riding off that emotional wave, and that's basically what happened. Speaking of which, shirt ripping, you know, nothing too out of the ordinary, I think, this tournament. I think they kind of played and placed how they should. You know, besides, I guess, the kind of upset they had with Panda Gaming. But I will say, you know, probably some people would think that wasn't really an upset. That's definitely something that was within the realm of possibility. Renegade definitely being a star player on that team. Lastly, just want to kind of wrap things up because it's getting kind of long, this video, with the big 3, Envy, Liquid, and Optic. Definitely will say that I underestimated Liquid and I overhyped Envy. I think if anything, now that the gap between 3rd place and 6th place are a lot smaller than it was before. LG, they brought Envy all the way to last map in the best of 7, and Envy only won by 3 kills. So Envy could have placed top 6 at this tournament if it was just a little bit different, and I think that's kind of very telling of how the competition is starting to tighten. But I will say that the gap between 3rd and 2nd, and 2nd and 1st is even greater. Liquid looked on another level than Envy, and with Optic, was an entirely different level. If I were to rank out how teams kind of stack up against each other, this is kind of how I would have it set up. The length of the bar kind of being within the realm of possibility of taking a series, in my opinion. But, you know, Optic Gaming takes Las Vegas. I think it's kind of nothing too surprising, I think. Looking forward, I think Worlds really is, at this point, the tournament for Optic to lose. Leading up to it, I'm going to be making a few more videos in Las Vegas. I'll also be having a full clip video, full highlights of all the plays in Las Vegas, and also one on the LCQ this weekend. So be sure to check out for those. But yeah, I will catch you guys next time.